And we back. And we're recording.
Yay, we're back.
We back. We back.
That Black Anime Podcast,
We
also
back.
known as TBAP,
Yes.
where we talk about anime and anime related things.
Anime related is definitely very relevant to today.
Yeah. But we'll get to that in a moment. How has your week been?
Long.
Yeah, same.
Like, I've been working all week and it just feels like, blah.
It's been a really long week.
It's been a long week. And I don't, like, I ain't really do anything different than usual. And it's
Yeah.
like, I only worked 4 days in a row and it was just, ugh. It was just, ugh.
Yeah, I'ma just be frank. I'm just right in the middle of a super deep, horrible, awful depression, and it's bad and it's awful. So if I sound a little down while recording, that would be why.
Yeah. Well, you know, to be honest, we ain't got a lot to say this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we watched a bad movie.
Like a really, and it was one of my lead. It was one of, it's not the worst kind of bad, which is like boring bad. It's one of the worst kind of bads. Other than that, like it's the kind of bad where it could have been good.
It could, like, first of all, we watched the new Fullmetal Alchemist live action movie on Netflix.
Oh my god! And
yeah, we're coming from different.
We're just jumping right into it.
Yeah, we're coming from different backgrounds here. What's your background with Fullmetal Alchemist?
I have watched both Fullmetal Alchemist, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and read like half of the manga.
So, on the other hand, I haven't even gotten to that episode, and anybody who's watched Fullmetal Alchemist knows which episode I'm talking about. Yes, I've never even got to that episode, but I've watched like the first few. But I don't even know where that episode is. I heard it's in the beginning, but I never even got that far. It's
fairly close.
So, yeah.
It's like, I want to say within the first 10 episodes.
So, more or less, I am coming into this blind, but with cultural osmosis.
Yes.
So,
and I want to point out that it's a common stereotype that live action anime does not work. And for the most part, that is true. Like, I have seen 3 live action adaptations of anime that were good, and they were all in the same trilogy. And that was the Rurouni Kenshin movies. Mm-hmm. I showed you one of them.
Yes.
That was good. But I realized that really only works because the way Rurouni Kenshin is, it didn't have to be an anime to begin with. Yeah. Rurouni Kenshin could have just been a samurai movie. Like it could have been live action. Like, it's really grounded.
Yeah. From what I can see from watching the movie is that there's a lot of missing chunks. Like, it would have worked better as a series, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the whole, 2 hours?
It was
it's a pretty long movie, and you can feel it. The first half is good.
Yeah.
And then, like, almost exactly at the hour mark, it starts falling off the rails.
Because I feel like I say this a lot to the point where I worry that it's gonna lose all meaning because it comes up in a lot of my criticisms. The pacing is abysmal after that first. Like the
first half, like when you're first getting into it, more or less after that part.
Yeah. Like, let's be honest, the pacing in the first half is questionable, but it becomes outright abysmal after that first hour.
After the first hour, I'm like, I had no idea what's going on. Like let's get into the plot. So, as if we're going into this like you've never watched Fullmetal Alchemist, I'll give as someone who's so you got Edward and Alphonse. Yes. And in the beginning, they're children and their mother dies, and as alchemists, they try to bring her back.
Oh, also adding this to the world where alchemy is like an actual
alchemy is a thing.
Like, it's an actual they say it's not magic, but it basically works like magic.
Yeah.
It's just magic with rules.
Yeah. So she dies. They try to make a big bowl of the components of human life to try to bring her back.
Which I had a problem with because it's like, well, we can get into that. Let's lay out the summary.
Okay, so they put a whole bunch of stuff in a bowl that you can look up. Carbon,
water, etc.
Yeah, etc. Doesn't work. Edward loses his arm and his leg. Mm-hmm. Al turns into a giant.
Well, no, Al loses his entire body.
Yeah, Al loses his entire body, and then they put his soul into this armor, and that's how you get the Fullmetal Alchemist.
Well, Edward is the Fullmetal Alchemist. Yeah, because it was a term. And they didn't. You're gonna hear me say this term a lot. They didn't explain. Like originally in the anime, that was every state alchemist gets a title. Mm-hmm. Like for example, Roy Mustang is the Flame Alchemist. Mm-hmm. I want to say Tucker the Life Alchemist. Wait, not Life Alchemist. He's something. But yeah, Edward, his title, you get an official title when you pass this test and become a state alchemist. And mm-hmm. the title that Edward got was Full Metal. Yeah. One of the many things they didn't explain how state alchemist. I'm sorry, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. This movie, it followed the basic plot of Edward and Al on the search for the alchemist Philosopher's Stone. Yeah. In order for a way to restore Alphonse's body. Yep. And which I assume, like, I don't know. I guess you can trade it for something like a huge, like if in the event that he didn't want a body. Like I assume it's like a big alchemy thing. What? Like the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah. So like I'm not gonna go into the real history or mythology of the Philosopher's Stone outside of the anime. In terms of the movie itself, essentially
they didn't explain that either.
Yeah, so essentially things work by equivalent exchange. This is why Edward gave up his arm trying to restore his mom, which ended up with just an abomination. Yeah. And he gave up his leg getting Al's soul back. Yeah. But arguably, theoretically, I think it's implied that with the stone, theoretically, he could do it. That he didn't have to pay a toll. Technically, using the stone was the toll. Yeah. And it also seemed to amplify alchemy at the same time. Mm-hmm. Because it takes you to the gate of truth, which was really well done. I will say this: the effects in this movie were really well done.
The effects are really good. So after the first scene, we see in like the entrance as them as children. You see him going after this priest who has apparently the Philosopher's Stone. Turns out to be fake. There's a fight scene. Effects are pretty good. You see Ed able to do alchemy without a circle, which is a big deal. Apparently.
Well, apparently they say it's a big deal. But the thing is, out of all the alchemists we see like let's just count them: Ed, Al, Tucker, Roy, and Marco. Marco doesn't even do alchemy in this movie. So of the 4 alchemists we see working in this anime, only like unless you count Ed and Al in the beginning when they're kids, only half of them use a circle.
Well, the flame guy does because he has a circle on his glove.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're paying attention, like the second if you really look at it, you can see the glove. Yeah,
but they show it pretty obviously in the beginning.
Fair. Yeah.
So.
I feel like they need to show, if you're going to say, make a big deal out of it, show more than just 4 alchemists in the whole movie.
There's also like a nameless chick, blonde chick that's always running around.
Winry.
Not Winry. The other chick, the military chick who doesn't have a name. Riza. They never name her in the movie. Well,
did they?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, he just called her Lieutenant. Oh, yeah, that pisses me off. Yeah. Like, it's Riza Hawkeye if you watch the anime. It's
no lines.
Like, it's very obviously Riza Hawkeye. And her being quiet makes sense because in the anime she doesn't talk much either. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like...
As someone who's just going off the movie, I'm like, who is she?
Like, you know she close to Roy.
Right.
You know she close to Mustang. They seem to be very close, and he took like not a bullet, but like a very sharp finger for her.
Right. We'll get into that. So I'm gonna skip over the part where they go to research because I want y'all to see the horror that comes from that. So they go to this guy's house to find out more about the Philosopher's Stone.
Shao Tucker, for those who have watched the anime.
Yes, they go to Tucker's house.
Now, I say Shao Tucker, and the people who have watched the anime are instantly... So, okay, I feel like we're moving at the same pace as this anime. So, in his pursuit of Ed and Al's pursuit, and mainly Ed's pursuit of the Alchemist Stone, because Ed doesn't really give a shit about getting his arm and leg back. He just wants Al's body back, because it's his little brother. But, in the pursuit of the Alchemist, the Philosopher's Stone, they go to live with, very temporarily, live with another state alchemist,
Time Tucker. Frame. It's impossible to tell how long anything happens in in this movie too.
Like, I know I'm not a great summarizer, y'all. If y'all been thinking with us long enough, y'all should know that. But let me know. I should let y'all know this isn't that right now. This anime is so poorly paced that it's hard to hit beat for beat what's going on in it.
It's a lot going on.
Right. Like, let me put it like this. We watched this anime 2 times.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we watched this movie 2 times. And the first time, the only reason I knew what was going on is because I was using my knowledge of the anime to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
I am not kidding. That is literally the only reason I knew what was going on in this movie.
Like, we're usually all over the place, but, like, when the movie is all over the place, plus us always being all over the place, you're going to get a little bit of a mess, because the movie is a mess. But carry on.
So they go to live with Tucker, who is another state alchemist. Apparently he specializes in chimeras. He had the daughter, he had the dog. We're gonna leave that at that. So yeah, he points them in the direction of another alchemist who studied the Philosopher's Stone, Dr. Marco.
Right. They go to Dr. Marco's.
Yeah, Winry, who we didn't talk about Winry.
Oh yeah, Winry apparently grew up with them, childhood friend.
Apparently, because
they don't explain that. It's like a throwaway line. Oh, their childhood friend.
She built Edward's arm and leg.
Yeah, she built Edward's arm and leg.
And she repairs it,
which is also a throwaway line. Yeah. But so they go to check out Dr. Marco.
He had the robotic.
Yeah, he has robotic prosthetics.
Yes.
Full metal. They work and everything.
Yeah. Which is actually, even in anime, I think that's interesting. They're fully, they aren't, perfect, obviously. But it's compared to, real life prosthetics, they're super. It's weird because the technology in the anime and in this movie seems to be set in World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
People who have watched the first anime and the anime movies know why I bring up World War II specifically. There's a reason for that.
Okay.
But it's for the most part it seems to be set in that kind of time period. But it's actually in some way with the I like how alchemy has kind of accelerated the technological growth under the surface, but though not over it.
Mm-hmm.
So it had the 1930s and 40s sheen, but they have full robotic prosthetics, and that's very fascinating to me.
It's interesting.
I'm sorry, I have to bring up what I can because oh my god, y'all, this movie fails at world building.
We're gonna get into the mess in a second. We're still in the first hour here.
So they go to find Marco. He says some cryptic shit like they all.
Yeah.
He gives the hint that the military is shady, which is the only hint you really get because we don't learn anything about military, just like we don't learn anything about the world in this in this movie. I knew the military was shady, but that's only because I watched the anime.
Yep.
I'm calming down. This is me off.
So then this lady named Lush shows up. She's apparently a homunculi.
Dressed to slay.
She is dressed to slay. Now
literally.
Her costume, she is dressed to slay.
I did that.
So she kills Dr. Marco with her extendable fingers.
And I was so annoyed I couldn't even make a joke about extendable fingers and a lady named Lush.
Basically she extends her fingers and stabs him full of holes.
Yeah, but apparently shooting her. Apparently she's also quote unquote apparently immortal because he shoots her in the chest and she reacts, "Oh, I just lost a life."
Yeah,
which is totally not foreshadowing, you guys.
Not
oh my god,
all. No. so that happens, and then they go back to to Tucker's,
and
Tucker gets arrested. We're gonna skip over why.
We're gonna skip all over that.
Yeah.
I will point out that while Winry and Edward were going to see Marco and everything, Tucker was kind of doing an examination of Alphonse.
Yeah.
And he was doing this thing where it's oh well, this is going to eliminate any false memories you may or may not have.
Right.
And Alphonse was like, wait, false memories? He said, yeah, because most of the time I'm transmuting a soul and they're impossible. This is what I'm making very clear what he said because it pisses me off. Something happens later that pisses me off. It references something he didn't say.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, typically it's impossible, but he says, and I say this, you seem to be the exception.
Quote, that's a direct quote from the movie.
And Alphonse, keep in mind, so attached to the piece of armor, is knocked unconscious. You know why? Because the process was to eliminate false memories.
Right.
Keep in mind, when he wakes up, he gives no indication of any memories being missing. Right? So I bring this up because this is one of the things that pissed me off. This is something that I can't just blame on the movie, because it pissed me off here, and it also pissed me off on the anime.
Right.
There's the conflict between Edward and Alphonse, where Alphonse is like, how do I even know if I'm a real person? You could have just made up the memory. You could have just made up my memories or whatever. And normally I love things like that. Mm-hmm. Like we were talking during the whole Ghost in the Shell episode a while back. But it was like, okay,
that was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Should have watched that instead again.
Yeah,
another episode.
It was like Ghost in the Shell. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. It's a good watch.
Yeah,
it's a good sit.
It was a good sit.
But I have a couple problems with Edward and Alphonse. Like, first off, you say Alphonse's argument was, Tucker told me it's near impossible, and I'm sitting here. You said you heard me. I said it out loud. Yeah. That is not what he fucking said.
Also, it seems like we skipped to it, but that's what happened in the movie.
It literally.
That's
oh my God.
Like some stuff happens in the middle, some unimportant stuff, but like shortly after that, after Tucker gets arrested,
this movie does not understand transitions.
No, they go immediately to quote the lab number 5. They find the wrong lab, and then they get in a fight.
Where they're the lab where the quote unquote the military was researching the Philosopher's Stone, but also we learned they were also keeping POWs.
Yeah.
Make the association prisoner of war, for those who don't know. Make the associations a laboratory where you do experiments, and also a place where you keep prisoners of war.
Yeah, something shady is happening, exactly. Obviously.
But it's like, y'all, even in the good half, the first half of this episode.
Yeah, this is about where it starts to go off the rails.
And even in the good half, the pacing was questionable. When I said it was questionable, it still didn't understand transitions then. Like, there's a moment where Edward is talking to Shao Tucker, and Shao Tucker, I may know something. They're like in his sitting room, and like, I may know a way to help.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you cut to Edward and Winry at a freaking train station.
And you're like, what happened?
Like, in other movies, there would be maybe a monologue going, like just a voiceover or something. Right. This movie doesn't even do that.
As terrible as voiceovers are.
As terrible as they are. That's it. It's still an attempt. This movie does not attempt anything. We talked about it. It seemed like this movie was made. Clearly, your target audience is, if you're making an adaptation, clearly part of your target audience are going to be people who are fans of the original work,
right,
of the source material. But here's the deal:
there are people like me who are not particularly fans,
right? Look,
who don't know anything.
Like, adaptation should be able to stand on its own, and this doesn't.
Oh, because no, not at all.
It's very clear that the filmmakers made this in the mindset of, why waste time explaining that? They already know.
Yeah.
Which is not a good way to make an adaptation, and not a good way to make a movie. You need to be able to stand on its own. You still have to competently pace your movie. You still have to be competent. You still have to be competent in world building. Preach. When I watched this movie the second time, right, and I'm trying to block off the parts of my brain that know about the anime. Yeah. I realized once I did that, I was freaking lost.
I thought, the first time I watched it, I thought I was missing something. And then the second time I watched it, I'm like, no, I was actually paying attention. It's just there's nothing for me to grasp onto to understand.
Okay, Marco shoots at Winry and Ed, they're fine. When they show up at his place, he's like, because he talking about how the military can't be trusted. Oh my God, they're after me. And then I'm sitting here like, we don't actually know how the military works. Yeah. Because they haven't explained it.
We don't know anything about the military. We don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy.
We know that he used to work during the Isvalan Civil War, but here's the thing. They never explain what the fuck that is.
We also don't know.
I know what that is on the anime, but in the movie, they never explain what the fuck the Isvalan Civil War is. They never do anything. They never explain what the I'm sorry. I'm upset. I'm very clearly upset because I do like the anime. And I don't love the anime, but I like the anime. But I really don't like when people do horrible adaptations.
Yeah.
The Dragon Ball Evolution all over again. Now, this is better than Evolution. Evolution was an abomination of cinema, even not counting the fact that it was an adaptation. Let me make that clear. But this movie, I will say this movie has some good things. Like, the acting is good.
The acting is good.
The visual effects are great.
Yes. The wig is terrible.
But Alphonse looks amazing.
Alphonse looks great. He looks great.
This movie upsets, like, bad adaptations upset me.
We never get the villain's motivation. So we have lust, gluttony, and envy. And it's like, who are they and why?
Envy is the shape-shifting homunculus. Gluttony is just the big fat guy who eats people.
Yeah, and like we never get why they're doing anything they're doing. They're killing people, but we don't understand why.
We never get a hint of what their goals are. I thought maybe there'd be an after credit scene, but no, that didn't come.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's hard to tell who's the villain and who's not.
There's also secondary villains, and it's like they come so out of nowhere that when they bring up like, oh, Tucker escaped or whatever, and they say y'all want the freedom, and there's a moment where Lust, the leader of the quote unquote leader of the group of homunculi, gives like a surprise look, like, wait, what?
Who?
I'm sorry. She actually says, to the other homunculi, did one of y'all for you?
Right.
I don't know what's going on. Like, the actual villains don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, that's how out of nowhere.
That's how much of a mess.
You know when you play like an old JRPG, and I guess maybe because there's someone lost, either because something was lost in the translation, or they just needed the final boss. It's like, I think the trope.
Yeah, there's a whole, specifically what we're talking about, there's a whole side plot where this guy takes all, like, Tucker finds a place where there's a whole bunch of Philosopher's Stones, and this guy comes out of nowhere.
And zombies,
and
somehow.
puts all the Philosopher's Stones into these dummies that are on the ceiling for some reason.
They're like golems.
Yeah, and he's trying to make an army, but the army eats him almost immediately.
Yeah.
So then we have... A
guy we've only seen like twice in the movie.
Right. So then we have them all fighting the zombies. For some reason,
while Ed and Mustang or the fire guys is fighting Lust and Envy,
right?
And it's like it's just
so much like it's a mess. Here? Yeah, like how do we arrive here and why? What's happening?
But it's like that old JRPG trope. I think for the people who like to be on TV tropes, I guess it's like the giant flee out of nowhere. It's like the final boss that has, or if you ever play Final, I'm not going without spoiling. If you ever played Final Fantasy 9, where the final boss had nothing to do with anything else in the story.
Yeah.
Because apparently they had cut it from the script. It's basically that, like, all of a sudden this boss that you had never seen before, like or like this random. Like, it's like you're playing a shooting game and you're fighting aliens and mutants, and all of a sudden some random giant Godzilla looking motherfucker comes out of nowhere that was never mentioned before
for no reason whatsoever.
Like, oh my god, y'all, this was disappointing.
So at the end he gets the Philosopher's Stone, but is like
one of them anyway.
One of the Philosopher's Stones, and is like,
well, we have to explain what it is.
Oh, yes.
It's revealed that,
it's Soylent Green is people. Basically.
Yeah, basically to make a real Philosopher's Stone, they never reveal how you make the fake one, at least not in the movie.
Yeah.
You have to use people.
Yeah, you gotta kill people, put souls into the stone, yada yada.
Philosopher's Stones are basically souls.
Yeah, Soylent Green is people. So he gets a stone and goes to the door of truth again, and is like, "Here's the stone," and then he's
talks to the truth, which is basically claims to be God.
Yeah, the whole universe.
The universe, the consciousness of the universe.
Yeah,
which is still an interesting concept.
Yeah, it looks cool.
But unfortunately, I can give them points for how it looks. No point for originality because it's an adaptation. They had to get to the original source material.
So he gets there and then he
sees Alphonse's body.
Yep, he sees Alphonse's body and then he's like, never mind. I don't want to be like these people we've been fighting this whole time, so I'm not going to use the stone. But it's like the stone is already made. You didn't do anything.
Like. And I hate to keep bringing up an anime, especially after I said adaptation of standalone. But in the anime, they did believe it or not, they did it better because it was more along the lines of they gave Edward had the moral dilemma of like, they put a bunch of people like, do I create a Philosopher's Stone? Do I transmute these? Do I actually kill these people to bring my brother back?
That makes a lot more sense.
Exactly. But when you already give him the stone,
he's already got the stone. Like
he didn't have to kill anybody.
He can't bring the people back at this point, presumably.
Honestly, with as young as they're supposed to be, despite how old their actors are, you can make the argument that he had a stone that would probably existed before he was born.
Yeah.
That you can't bring the soul that was put into the stone back, or at the very least,
there's like a bajillion of them, unless like they got all broken from them killing the zombies. Like what happened?
Yeah, like
what happened to the rest of the stone?
Exactly. Like
is that the last one?
Yeah, that's the one he pulled out of Lust.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
And it's like Al is like, don't do it. It's a human soul. I'm like, dude, what? Like, y'all don't know what your afterlife is.
You're right.
You have been to your afterlife, and you don't know what your afterlife is.
Right.
Like, there's really no dilemma here.
There's
like,
no reason for him not to do it, except
to make a sequel. This movie was set up for a sequel.
Obviously, yeah.
Like the homunculi, gluttony escaping, all set up for a sequel, which doesn't work because we still don't know what the.
Yeah, we still don't know their motivations. We still don't know like who they are and who made them, why.
This is a 2-hour.
What their purpose was.
This is a 2-hour movie with less than an hour of plot.
Yeah.
Essentially, like this is less than it. It really only had less than an hour of plot. This is a 2-hour movie that could have been told in like maybe honestly I'd argue like 3 or 4 30-minute episodes.
Oh yeah, it would have been much better as a series. I think it would have been cleaner and had explained a lot more, and yeah.
It actually had room, like economy of storytelling, people.
Mm-hmm.
Economy of storytelling. This is it was the pacing, and it was. I hate using that word because the more I use a word, the less meaning it's gonna have. But it is abysmal.
Yeah.
Like.
So, like, again, there are positives. It's very well acted. The effects are really good.
The emotional scenes, including that one we didn't mention, is well done.
Oh, yeah. The emotional, even the silly fight that happens, like, Winry's actress, like, she sells it.
Winry's, Hughes, I didn't mention them before now for a reason. Just watch the movie.
Yeah.
If you must. Honestly, we watched it for you. But.
Right.
Fans of the anime should watch this so you know. How not? Honestly, I would recommend it I don't recommend it as a good thing. I recommend it as a way not to do an adaptation.
Yeah.
Take that as you will. Like, cause the thing is, in order to know why something is good, you have to know. You also have to know why something is bad.
Exactly.
And this is bad.
It is bad.
And it's a shame.
Sorry, fans of the anime. It's bad.
It's the saddest kind of bad because it's like
they tried really hard.
They tried, and it could have been good.
It could have been really, really good. And like, there you see the sparks of good.
It doesn't. It's at the point where the overall product doesn't deserve the good.
Yeah.
It's like it's shit, but then there's little kernels of corn in the shit.
It's definitely not the worst movie or anime I've ever seen.
It's not the worst adaptation.
It's not the worst adaptation.
Dragon Ball Evolution. Fuck you. But
yeah,
it wasn't problematic.
No, there was nothing problematic about it.
Not really, other than like the source material stuff. It was just It was just. If anything, the German illusions were actually almost non-existent compared to the anime. So actually, it's actually less, in some ways, less problematic than. I'm not gonna spoil that for you, but it's actually less problematic than the actual Fullmetal Alchemist anime. Yeah, in some ways, but y'all, it's.
I mean, it's not gonna hurt you to watch it.
If you're a fan, it's gonna piss you off. If you're not a fan, it's gonna confuse you, and if you're a fan, it's going to piss you off. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
No, well. That's our opinions on it.
There it is.
there it is.
We will finish Tiger and Bunny at some point.
Yes, we will.
Let's move on to better things.
Yes.
We will finish Tiger and Bunny at some point because that is actually very good.
It is super. Let's watch some of that today.
Yeah.
We've been watching it slowly but surely. Movies are so much easier for us to do.
Yeah, and for people, hint, if you want, movies are. We'll watch whatever, as long as it's within our guidelines. We'll watch whatever you like recommend, like whatever you request. It's just movies are easier because we can watch movies multiple times in a day.
Yeah,
and it's easier on us. So you can. I'm just gonna give y'all a heads up. When it comes to movies, you're gonna get a better, more fully formed opinion.
Yeah.
Like, don't count. Like, if you watch our previous episode of movies, notice how those are. This one doesn't count because again, they're just not.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
We had a mess to work with, so you might get a messy podcast.
I mean, heck, remember that time we did Tekken? We did the episode as you were in Florida at the time. We did the episode as we were watching the movie, which
that was fun.
I'm not gonna lie. One of these days I want to do that, something like that again.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know.
I thought about doing it for our second watching on this, but we'll see.
We might make it a Patreon. You never know. We might make it a Patreon thing.
Yeah. Speaking of Patreon things, we're gonna give that Black Panther episode to you, favorite listener, Kristen. Sorry. We'll get it to you soon. Kristen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get it to you soon. What else?
That's how Fullmetal Alchemist was that bad.
It was pretty bad.
It knocked out all our spoons for everything else. That's how bad.
Honestly.
How Fullmetal Alchemist was. Like,
it was a mess.
Now I still recommend the anime. I still like.
Maybe we'll do a comparison to the first 25 episodes of the anime or however many we are able to watch.
Yeah, let me put it like this. Let me put a recommendation for this. Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, they're definitely both worth watching. I will say the first half of those two anime, they're basically almost identical. Because it just where they diverge is like in the middle, because while they end completely differently, because while Fullmetal Alchemist is its own thing, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood based on the manga, which is after a certain point completely divergent from the first Fullmetal Alchemist.
I never knew what the difference was. I always thought it was a sequel or something.
It's not. It's basically like, so the Fullmetal Alchemist manga that the Fullmetal Alchemist anime is based on. I guess maybe, I don't know if it was time constraints or because the creator of the anime wanted to do a different thing. The original 2001, 2007.
I don't know why you're asking me. I sure don't know.
Well, it basically up until a point where because the events are the same up until a certain point, and then it's like goes completely opposite directions. The homunculi are the concept how they're created are different. Certain characters that exist in the manga and in Brotherhood do not exist in the original Fullmetal Alchemist anime. It's a whole big thing. I'm not going to comment on what I think is better, because honestly, I've heard some people say, oh, they like the original Fullmetal Alchemist better. I like Brotherhood better, without spoilers, because I like the ending better and I like certain fights better. I think it comes down to whichever one you see first. Because I'm honestly of the belief that people who say the first Fullmetal Alchemist is better, I don't think they would be saying that if Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood had come out first. And,
interesting.
That's debate for a different day. Honestly, I will say that I
should watch Brotherhood then.
I wouldn't. They're both. Honestly, I will say that it's all come down. They're not that different in quality. It comes down to the point where it all comes down to personal preference. Like if. Depending on your own preferences, which I will say this, it's very likely that there are exceptions out there. Whichever one you like first, whichever one you watch first, you're going to like better, because to a certain point, the first few episodes of both of them are almost a lot alike.
Yeah, I will say the movie is worth watching for that part. If you want to be horrified.
Yeah, because the emotional scenes work.
Yeah.
Because the actors are trying. The acting is good. The effects are good. It just everything. Literally, the plot is garbage.
So if you want to watch it and get to that part, and when you get to that part, you'll know what I'm talking about. Do that and let us know what you think in the comments.
Let me put it like this: if I spoke fluent Japanese, or if this was an English dub, this is something I would have as background noise.
Yeah.
Like it's something like if I wanted to like watch something without having to focus too hard on it. It's sometimes movies for that purpose, like sometimes media for that purpose does exist. But like for example, the Underworld movies, like if I'm playing like a game on my DS or something, the Underworld movies is something I'd have on. It's like. I would never say they're objectively good movies, despite the fact how much I love that series.
Yeah.
Like Underworld rather than Likens. Like I would watch that just not to watch it. If I was doing like 5 other things on at once, it's something I'd have on in the background.
Yeah.
It's a movie you can turn your brain. If you turn your brain off, it's watchable. Just know it's a 2-hour movie Just know it's a 2-hour movie with less than an hour plot.
Yeah. There it is. Anything else? Like,
the movie should have ended halfway through it. Like, if the movie had ended at the bare minimum of feature length, if it had ended at the 90-minute mark, it probably would have been fine. It would have been okay. It would have been easier to give it a recommendation.
Yeah.
If it ended at the 90-minute mark, ended at the halfway point, and I was like, oh, well, it was short, and it didn't have much, but you know what? It would have left us wanting a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that would have been better than trying to cram all that crap into the second half.
Yeah. Well, that's that.
That's that.
Anything else?
Not really. Like, y'all, I know I said I wanted to watch more bad stuff this year, but I was thinking more on the line of entertainingly bad. I ain't gonna lie. Like, bad worth talking about.
Yeah.
Not bad that makes me sad and angry.
So, yeah. Tell us what you thought about the FMA movie in the comments after you subscribe.
Like, this isn't Peach Girl bad.
I've never seen Peach Girl.
Yes, you have. Remember?
Did we?
Remember when we stopped. Like,
oh yeah, we couldn't get through it.
We actually had to, the only occasion where we had to switch to another anime because it was so bad.
Yeah.
like, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that I had clearly blocked it out.
Yeah. We watched 3 episodes of it and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, done. We were done there. But yeah. Leave us comments. Let us know what you thought about it. Tell us what you think about the anime itself, etc., etc.
Direct discussion. We don't have a lot of discussions.
Yeah.
Some viewer engagement.
Yeah, engage with us. We read our YouTube comments.
We are engaging.
Engage on the Facebook page. We're both on Facebook more often than YouTube. I check the comments.
We're on Facebook more than we should be, to be honest.
I check the comments on YouTube when I upload, so like once a week. So yeah, we'll engage with you, etc. and so forth. Anything else you want to cover before we end it?
Nah, I think that's about it.
All right. Have a great week, you guys. Enjoy your lives.
Yes.
All right. Bye.